Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here, and welcome to my layout share. This will be the last of the layouts I did for Calvinball, and on yesterday I did no layout at all. It's the first day in at least a month, maybe longer, that I haven't done a layout, and it was an excruciating day. We had a, and it's the reason that all the mess is still here from Calvinball is that we had a guy come in to do an alarm system and video doorbell and all this integrated system. So in addition to Siri, who talks to me through my watch, and Alexa, who talks to me from the Echo Show in the kitchen, I now have whoever the little person is inside my Google Nest little speaker that announces when strange people come to the door. So anyway, oddly enough, there's a door right kind of that way from my desk, and there's a door there that is probably, I don't know, swollen shut and cannot open. At least that was the case the last time we tried. And I have put another door that was our front door at our previous home. And I loved it. It was custom made with the Texas Lone Star set in the middle of the glass. It is in front of that door, just kind of leaning on it. We were going to have it installed, but the cost was too much and they weren't sure it would have a good seal. And so we kind of took it off the other house for nothing, I suppose, except that I still get to see the star. The light shines through the star. And then my big shelf that holds all my mixed media and other supplies, the shelf that I reach over to to grab stuff during videos, is in front of that. So if anybody tried to get in that door, it would be much louder than any alarm system. But my son pointed out that I may not always have my craft space right here, and I may not always have that door there. And I think he may have also, meant in somewhere in there, I may not always be here. And so putting a sensor at that door makes good, since it was included in the price, makes sense. So everything in my craft space had to be moved, and just the whole area destroyed. And I have spent about 2 hours this morning putting it basically back together and sweeping up a lot of the mess, but I haven't cleared the top of the table, nor the cart of embellishments, Calvinball, my Calvinball cart. So that's enough of my life story. Here's the first layout I did since the last share, and it was for 30 days of sketches, and I don't have, part of what got lost, I guess, in all of this was the sketch that went with this, but never mind, you probably couldn't see it anyway. It had a cut file. It had the photos in this arrangement and kind of a cut file showing at each corner where the photos met. And I just replaced that with a doily and then tucked a million things behind the doily. I think this was one of my fairly high point projects, but I don't have it on here. And that's okay. Calvinball's over. I've entered my points finally. So there. This was done with my Scrap Backwards kit, and it was for Scrappy Adams sketch in 30 Days of Sketches, which was day 29. And it was a half and half grid with, a fun bunch of stars down the center. I did a page about my upcoming trip to the UK for the Vicky Boughton cruise and meeting Adam in person, and the fact that our crop is going to be in Liverpool, and so on and so forth. Used this amazing Bramble Fox perspective and this one, and I think, there's another one there. There's a little glue gun, which was my craft supply that I put on there. Okay, let me put that down in the recycling bin, which is in a different place than it was before. This was also a grid. It was and I don't have a label on it, and a spaceship has fallen off, and I'm gonna leave it off because it wasn't actually a necessary part of anything. Let me get my tweezers that can actually pick stuff like that up. And there's a piece of a turtle that's coming out. I don't have a label on this one, so I don't have anything. So it goes off in another pile, so I can label that. It was this grid that had partly some squares filled in, the photo cluster, and then some where the background paper showed through, and you can kind of see where the background paper showed through. I put other stuff. So this was a really high one. This was my highest point. It was 130 points for this page. So I have to label that. When I get kind of in the heat of the moment. This one I can't show you. It is a layout that is a sample for an event over at Scrap-A-Sketch, and I did I took the sketch and in typical fashion, without reading or thinking much about the other instructions that went along with the sketch, I did it my own way, and I made a Christmas page, which is this one, which I also can't show you. And when I did it, about maybe 3/4 of the way through it, I thought, oh my gosh, my theme was spring. So, and you'll know what that means if you go over to Scrap-A-Sketch and join and get involved in this event. It's going to be so much fun. Every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there's a new sketch, and there are prizes, and there are drawings, and all kinds of things. And we have lots of fun inspiration from the design and guest design teams. And it's 4 seasons. The event is 4 seasons in 1 month. And so it starts out, the first week's sketches will be done with a spring theme, then we go to summer, then we go to fall, and we go to winter. And then, there may be along the way some crisscrossing of seasons and so forth. But so anyway, I did a Christmas page, and then I thought, oh, heck, I'm supposed to do spring. So I did a spring page to the same sketch, but they look very different. And you'll see that there'll be samples published in the albums tomorrow, which is, this will go live on Saturday, and that will go live on Sunday with the Sunday sketch. And Shannon Allor and I are doing Challenge Accepted. Our challenge accepted for the whole month is to do the Friday sketch from Scrap-A-Sketch. So I did the Sunday one for a sample as part of the guest design team. And then Shannon and I will be doing those, and we'll have videos every Thursday. So this one was a Calvinball page that I did, it was the fastest page I did, and I forget how many points, 70 points. I would have guessed 30, but once I started counting things up. The background is a jelly print that's kind of several different layers. You can kind of see the brayered on layers, and then I painted some white paint on bubble wrap and laid that on top. And then I did some, and I had a mask. At some point, I used a mask and a stencil for this butterfly at 2 different times, because I've got some bubble wrap here, but not over here. I have the solid. So when I do gel prints, I go crazy, and I have no idea. I do step after step, just, ooh, this would look cool. And I had this blue outline on something else that I just kind of laid on top and cleaned off my my gel plate. And it just, a lot of times I'll do one and then I'll go do some more gel printing, and I'll have some trash left on the plate, and I'll go transfer that trash to an existing print, which is what I did with that frame. So I loved it, and it had Easter colors, and I wanted to do this Easter photo of Katie because we needed a bunny and an and eggs and more than 10 flowers showing. So this just in the photo, I got a bunch of points. So anyway, this one was kind of fun. Let me put that one back over here. And then this one was for a celebration hop for Crafty Maggie. She designed this sketch to help celebrate her 8 years on YouTube. And of course, I got a cut file that was a clock that had Roman numerals, and I just covered up the numerals. If I'd been smart, I would have cut them out and used them as individual cut files on other layouts, but no, not me. And I did a lot. It's also for Challenge Accepted, Crafty Maggie's Celebration, and Punched Out Thursday to Die For. So I used some leaf dies and cut from this glitter paper, this orange vellum, this green Vicky Bouton paper, and I used dies for the sunshines and for the hot air balloon, and punches for the speech bubble and the little circle and a bunch of other things in there. So this one was, I think, 120 points. Another one without a label. So I'm gonna have to put that off to the side. Like I said, I get kind of going and I forget my processes. I forget my my workflow, if you will. This one has a label on it. This one was for Mixed Media Mayhem yesterday. And I used a Scrapping Reflections stencil. And I absolutely love how this turned out. So I keep talking about how I did it. Because of all process videos to get corrupted and not show you how I did this, there'd be this one. Because I love this one so much. So I had 4 different colors of Distress Oxide inks. And you can see that it kind of graduates, but then I come back and blend them in. And the idea was to get heavier and more solid down below and then darker as we go up. And then while the stencil was still down, I spritzed with water, hoping to blur the edges and to get that kind of spotty watercolor look in them. And it worked perfectly. It absolutely worked perfectly. Then I took a brick pattern stencil and kind of lightly brushed just so you could barely tell, because I got a Calvinball point for brick texture. But number one, I love the stencil. This is an open part of the stencil over here. And B, I actually tried something new and it worked. And then the video didn't show it. So there is a short overview video where you may see some but you just pretty much got the overview. Okay, so this was the original that we were lifting in Mixed Media Mayhem. And this one is one that's kind of done as a tribute to my ex-husband who passed away last week. And my son was there. I may leave that. Well, no, I'm not. I'm going to put it back on. My son went to Oklahoma and was there when he passed. And while he was there, he, in talking with the family, he asked me for some photos, asked me for any photos that I had of his dad. So I sent him some, and then his dad's sister gave him some more, which he brought back for me and wanted me to scrap. So one of the main photos was this photo of his dad's house. And this is the house James remembers as his dad's house, because his dad and his wife at the time lived there when James would go visit him. But when I was married to his dad and I lived at a house that was right next door to this, kind of up closer to the street. And this was where his dad's parents lived. And that was the first house that I visited when we were first dating. That was his dad's house. And so it was 1970, and The Long and Winding Road by Paul McCartney was a thing. And I kind of, there was a lot more to the road to get out to the street. And this was kind of a winding road. You can see it curves from here and goes up to there. And it was kind of this romantic notion of a long and winding road that leads to your door. And so I filtered the photo that James took while he was there of the house. This is the house inhabited by its current residents who have nothing to do with the family. But it wasn't a particularly sharp photo. So I filtered it to get this stained glass kind of look to it and used it as my background. And I used a photo of his dad and me in 1971 after our horse had won a race. And this is a picture of me in my little Porsche 914 and our German Shepherds, Baco and Cookie. And you can see that Baco is plenty tall enough, Cookie is almost too, to reach up to the window of my car, or the car was low enough, whatever. I was so proud of that car, and it looks so dated now. So that was in 1973. And then this was about 1984, a photo of James beside a tree. And I think it's this tree. It might be a bigger one that's over on this side. But, you know, these are all kind of memories of his dad. And each one of the little things there kind of has some bit of significance. So I haven't put that one out there widely because, I don't know, I was afraid people might think it was weird that I was doing pages about my ex-husband. But at this point, he was someone I had a child with and shared a short bit of time with, and whom I hated to see suffering at the end. So anyway, that's it. The production pace, I think, is going to slow down over the next few weeks because I have a very critical, impending family thing that I'm going to have to be taking care of. So I'll be a little bit less, and Calvinball's over. So I'm cleaning up and kind of doing a few of my series and a few design team pages. But thank you for watching. I appreciate your support and all your wonderful comments as I do these shares. You've seen through these shares every layout I made for Calvinball this year, and I haven't counted them it was at least 31 because I made at least one a day, and I did a video every day for Christy's the 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. So there, and then a few extras here and there. So it's been a hectic and busy and fun month, and but I'm ready for April. So happy April, guys. Bye.